In this tutorial, we'll be creating the cinematic title reveal in After Effects. Now this was inspired by the Elevate trailer and requested by one of the subscribers, so I figured let's create something similar. Now the only plugin that we're going to be using here is Saber, which is a free plugin from Video Copilot, so if you don't have it, go ahead and get it and let's get started. So I'm going to create a new solid for my background and another solid for my Saber layer. And we're going to go ahead and add Saber to this layer. Under Customize Core, go to Core Type, change it to Text, and select our text layer. Now, a preset I like to work with here is called Star Killer. And let's go ahead and decrease the glow to maybe 30 and the core size to 2. Now, if we play this back, you can see that we get this nice distortion, kind of foggy look here, but it's a bit too fast. So what I want to do is go into my distortion, and under glow distortion, anything that has speed in it, I'm just going to lower it to something like 0.5. Here, 0.5 as well. Now we'll go into the core distortion, and here I'll lower the core distortion just a bit, maybe set it to 7. And again, anything that has speed in it, I'll lower to 0.5, and here as well. So now we just slowed it down and we have more subtle movements. Let's change the color from red. And this is up to you. I'm gonna go with something bluish, kind of here. Let's go to our text layer here and I will isolate it. And what I wanna do here is animate it coming in letter by letter. Now Saber can follow text animations, but the only thing that it not follows is opacity. So for example, if I enable it back here, you can see that I scale up my layer and it will follow along. But if I set the opacity to 0, nothing's gonna happen. So a quick solution for this would be to go down into our text animation here and set a scale. I'll set the scale to 0. And let's go to the range selector and just create 2 keyframes here from 0 to 100 on my starting point. So it just comes in. Now, obviously the letters are going to be scaling up because we are using the scale. So to make it just come in, we're going to go into the advanced here and under smoothness, change this to 0. So now we basically got each letter coming in just like that. Now, if I check on my Saber layer, you can see that it starts this way and then follows the text animation. So what I need to do here is basically find the first frame here and trim the Saber layer down. Now I'll bring my text forward here and I'll make it black. All right, now let's go ahead and create some more glowing effects. So I'll duplicate my Saber layer and we'll call this raise. I'll drop it above my text layer here. And if we scroll down here, we got something called alpha mode, and I'll choose mask core. And here I just want to add a quick fast radial blur. And this basically gives us these nice rays here. I'll just set it to standard and maybe lower my opacity to 40 and set the transfer mode on my layer to screen. So we've got these nice rays around our text. I can also animate the center point here over time. So we got these rays sort of going through the text. And now let's go ahead and add some texture and a background to our text layer. So I've got this city stock footage here, and I'm gonna set my main Saber layer to screen as well. And on my background layer, I'm just gonna lower the opacity to maybe 10, just so we can slightly see it in the back here. And I'm gonna duplicate it, and we'll call this texture. I'm gonna drop it above my Saber layer, and I'll set it to be a track matte to the cinematic text. So now let me isolate this, and you see that we've got the footage of the city here inside the text layer. Now let's bring up the opacity to 100, and I'm gonna add a curves effect. And just bring it down here so we can darken it, maybe bring it out as well like so. And I'll add a fast blur and set it to something like 3, just so we can blur it out a bit. And maybe bring the opacity down to about 70. So now with everything together, we've got this nice city texture inside here. And in the background, I actually want to lower the opacity a bit more, so maybe 7. Let's go ahead and pre-compose everything and add a final touch of color correction. So I'll add another curves effect and give it the basic S curve like so. Go into the red channel and maybe lower it down just by a bit here. And also maybe a CC vignette to darken the edges here. And we're gonna lower this a bit. Now I'm just gonna give it some scale over time here. So from my first frame to the last one, just scaling up over time. And this is how you can create this cinematic title reveal. I hope you found this tutorial useful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.